Okay, welcome back. This is a little video that I never thought I'd be making. I have gone through quite a few routines in my time, etc. Obviously, there's the Maggio. I've looked at stamp. There's all the arbor material. There's numerous things out there, and one of the aspects of trumpet playing that never really spoke to me or worked for me was free buzzing, and I've delved in and out of this for many years, and it's one of those things that I think I've just been doing it wrong for so long. And it's not through misinformation. It's like I haven't really worked out one how to do it, either been told how to do it correctly, or literally just going around it about it wrong. Sorry, excuse me. So every time that I've free buzz before, it pretty much would leave me tight. If I did any amount of free buzzing, it would always leave me tight around the embouchure, and pitching would be all over the place, etc. So I never really did it that much, and that goes the same for mouthpiece buzzing. I'm still working on the mouthpiece buzzing aspect of trumpet practice. So for quite a while, I really pretty much just wanted to get the middle part here about buzzing. And that sounds alright, doesn't it? But already I can start to feel a lot of tension. Sorry, I've got a screen up here that I'm just checking to make sure that the camera's centered. I can feel a lot of tension around here that doesn't really, I don't feel correct. And it wasn't until I went through a little equipment change and I started delving into some of the Reinhardt material, to be honest, just messing around a little bit, that I kind of made a little breakthrough on my own, I suppose. And after re-referencing a lot of the material that I have found online about free buzzing, then yes, either misinterpretation on my side or the communication of information, which is very difficult between two people because it's very hard to explain what's going on with any one body component because they're all different. And also really just not understanding. And this journey may still be going as well. But the more I do the free buzzing that I do, I feel that it is a lot more beneficial than I was ever led to believe or had experienced by myself. Now, I started off doing this recently because I started getting into the Reinhardt material, and one of the early components of the material here is a degree of free buzzing, and you pretty much start off on a pedal note, not a pedal note, sorry, a low note, and you continue from there. I'm not going to go into the Reinhardt exercise. I might do it anyway, but I can't reference the pitch because my phone is actually, I'm using that as a screen for the camera. Anyway, suffice to say that you find a low pitch and you try and sustain that, okay? So as usual, like I was just demonstrating earlier on, I was actually pinching quite a bit in the centre part of my embouchure, which does provide enough of a buzz. So a lot of my students weren't getting this, and I tried and tried and tried and tried. And the air was coming out from everywhere else, and I was wondering, so why is the air coming out? Etc. All these things are... And very obviously, because it's pinching in the centre of the embouchure. So there's a little thing that I started trying to do in terms of like, well, where does the buzz start? So, bit gross here. Wet my fingers, and I've got my big old beardy face on right here as well. And what I did was, I pretty much blown through the arm mouth and finding where, when my fingers come together, the buzz would start. Okay, so that kind of gave me an inclination or an idea of what's going on in the corners of our embouchure up to the sides of the mouth to allow this part to buzz. And what I noticed more than anything else was that I wasn't actually doing anything in the centre. The centre was just buzzing by itself. I'm doing nothing here in the middle. So I need some wet fingers again. A little bit closer that time. And all I was doing was just blowing through, and I just used my fingers here to engage the corners of my mouth. So that took me down the path of thinking, well, let's try and do this through just engaging the corners of the mouth. And it took quite a while. So by just blowing through with no fingers, I was just going, and I've got my corners here together, but what I'm trying to now think about doing is engaging these guys down towards this area here, okay? It's very hard to see because obviously I've got a beard, which doesn't help at all with any of this stuff. But at the same time, it's like the actual movements that we're making here are infinitesimal. So all I'm going to say to take away from this little video is, if you don't really get on with free buzzing, just try that little experiment. One of the things that I do use, obviously, and this is straight out the Doc Reinhardt material when it's talking about the free buzzing, is make sure that your embouchure is super wet. Inside your teeth, behind your lips, the whole lip area, the vibrating surface, it'll just, I think it removes any impingement of any dryness there whatsoever, okay? If you are a naturally dry player, try this anyway. I always try and say to be as moist as possible. The embouchure will find its way, and the mouthpiece will find its way on the embouchure a lot quicker. So one more time to go over that. So wet your lips, also wet your fingers so they can move back and forth quite freely. And just gradually, I mean, you could even just like push against, but want to get away from like this idea of pushing against your face. But really just try and think about your fingers moving backwards and forwards. See if my autofocus works this time a little bit better. And it's all about, I hate gross close-up pictures. Here we go. Okay, and that's all I can explain about the free buzzing for me in terms of how I got the idea of removing the pressure from this center part of the embouchure. Okay, now how that's led me on to another equipment change, I'm just going to go on to and do another video straight away. It will be a separate video, but try and think about that little aspect of your playing if you are trying to practice free buzzing and it's not going well, or you don't think you're benefiting from it. Okay, give it a go. I would love to hear your comments on this and your own ideas about free buzzing. I'm not teaching here, I'm just saying this in my observations. As always, there's loads of information out there. Find out what works for you. Let me know how you got on. Thanks very much, folks, for watching, and I'll see you soon. Stay safe and stay smart. Bye-bye.